Look like a George Carlin. Anyway, only a little bit difference is, anyways though, shoot, just basically anyone can be inspired. Anyone could like something, right? Anybody can like something. And then anybody could, make a home project or just some kind of school project with that thing. And, just do it at home or something. But it's an entirely different thing when you put it basically on the internet, And anyone can be inspired and like an idea that someone else did. Anyone can make their own version, whatever. But you just cannot copy and paste it. It's like stealing something that isn't yours. Like, say this Get Good, for example, this Get Good yours. I'll take it. But nah. Because, and the example that I'm trying to use here is, if someone else makes something or someone else has something, then that's theirs, But the real point of all this is, you cannot copy word for word. You cannot basically copy everything. You can't do what they did the exact way they did it. Otherwise, you would have to have an okay, a confirmation, or something from that brand / company, whatever they are, business. And if you basically aren't able to get an okay from them, then that on its own kind of answers the question of, can you use it exactly how it is? Now, nothing will be like the original. Absolutely nothing will be as good as how the original was, or how it was set up and all that, and how the idea came into fruition and the idea came up with in the first place. Nothing will be as good. So when something is able to be used, like when something goes in the public domain, then there might be some cool stuff that comes out there, and stuff from real fans that people make their own kind of like stories or whatever from it. But it's another thing when they try a little bit too hard, and you kind of never know how they actually feel about things. You just see what they made most of the time, as if say, the Winnie the Pooh thing, Blood and Honey. You don't know if the Blood and Honey people just wanted to make something from Winnie the Pooh and then didn't like Winnie the Pooh, or didn't really care. They just wanted to make their own version of it, and they just didn't give props or credit, or etc. type thing. That's just, for example, an analogy. I'm not saying that's how the people truly feel, and they're not trying to like profit off of it for their own gain. And that's one of the main reasons that people do stuff like that, is for money. And if they do that, that's pretty pathetic, because of and sad. It's easy to get money. One of the easiest things is to get money. So if you can't chase a bag, if you can't get a bag, then don't take other people's work. Just do your own. And when people realize that those people did their own work, and then they try to take it, like, say person A did their own work, and person B is saying that that's not how it works, and person A is freaking have their own work, and person B is trying to take it, and then they're saying, no, that's not taking their own work. That's how it is. That's just as simple as it can get. I'm just breaking it down to the basics here. So back to me, my business, my brand, my company, my everything. If someone is inspired, that's okay. And I'm not saying that I've seen videos and other stuff that's completely copied stuff from my own content. That's Hey, if you're inspired, that's fine. But you cannot completely copy it word for word and letter for letter, etc., etc. And I'm not just saying this for me, I'm just saying for everybody out there. And just for example, you cannot copy and paste everything there. The concept and the idea, whatever, you can put your own little spin on it or whatever, but is it going to be as good as the first idea that came before it? Like my idea and then someone else's that basically not too long after uploaded their version of it. um, and then it just wasn't as enjoyable. And I'm not biased. I can send it to people and just random people. I could just post it, and then we can see that more likely that mine was more enjoyable. And I'm just saying that from a perspective that isn't trying to do it for the for gain. Like for me, for example, I do it for the entertainment of people. I enjoy to make people laugh and all that. And apparently, that's even being copied too. But you cannot copy every little thing because it's protected. That's what copyright is, and all of that in general. Um, and you do that, that's basically you're doing something illegal, and you could even get locked up for it. So I wouldn't suggest people do that, but I know people already have it on YouTube, and until someone says something about it, then maybe they'll see something. But most of the time, you can't really rely on YouTube for everything because I've told them that people have copied my work before. They still leave it on YouTube. But I'm not going to get specifically into detail. Again, I'm just going to go back to the main point of everything. You can be inspired, but you cannot take someone else's work. Um, but once someone's work is in the public domain, again, you can absolutely cannot take the original thing, the original of how it was, and use it for yourself. It just doesn't work like that. You cannot even do that for Winnie the Pooh or Mickey Mouse once Mickey Mouse uh, enters public domain next year. You kind of can't. You can there's you can do basically whatever you want to an extent, but there's a limit. There's a specific limit. And if there isn't, again, it goes back to what I said earlier, it's not going to be the same as the original. But um, I just really wanted to talk about this because the idea came up, and it's it's something that should be said, absolutely should be said, because um, it's something that some people don't think about, and it's a very important thing to think about these things that should come up before anything, before you even post it, before you even do anything with this, or say or comment about this type of thing. You gotta at least have that thought process and at least have that or something. Discuss it with somebody. When people discuss and talk it out instead of just fight 24/7, you get a lot more done. And that's why we as human species and everybody in general just we've evolved more and we've learned more and we've grown more because the ones that talked it out are the reasons why we're at the point we're at now. We wouldn't have all this stuff, all of this. We wouldn't have all of this if people were to use their brains and not be brain dead and brainless and childish, mentally ill, and talk things out instead of fight. But everybody's different. Everybody got their own thing going on, and it can go any way. But I'm just saying in general, the more uh, people talk out things and discuss things, the better. If people might not agree and people talk it out at first and one of them ends up wanting to fight, then just leave them and be. Either they cannot accept the truth or they just don't agree. And not everybody will agree. It goes all to that. But I'm not saying anything specific. I just wanted to talk about the idea of um, of not copyright specifically, but just concepts of what people make, like people's work. Some people put their whole lifetime into things, and they're a lot of work, unprecedented amount of work. Work that some people will just sit on their ass lazy, play games all day, and then people that work, and then they'll try to take that idea or take that work and try to do it for themselves, and it just doesn't work like that, bird brain. And it's it just goes to an extent again. Now, if they're allowed to copy whatever, like I said, if there's no limits once it enters public domain, that kind of makes it have no. There's no point into having public domain, copyright, trademark, all of that type of stuff if it can't be protected by all that, and it can be copied and pasted, then there's no point in it in general. And you could just illegally copy and paste and copyright anybody's stuff. But if it is, then I don't know. Again, I'm not. I haven't done a lot of research on it. I'm just saying what I know of, and yeah. So, with all that said, soon I'm gonna be trying to do as much as I can. I'm gonna be expanding. Like I said, I'm gonna be working on a lot of projects and such as much as I possibly can. So, with all that said, everybody, it's been the Homies X710. I got some work to do.